To live a perfect life, it is necessary to have a template in our minds, since perfection can only be judged by comparing it to something imperfect. This mental template helps us navigate the world, giving us a sense of direction. But the question is, who designs this template? In most cases, the template is either created by society for you or by you for yourself. And more often than not, it is society that does the designing. From a young age, we are told what a good life should look like: go to school, get a degree, find a stable job, settle down, buy a house, raise a family, and retire peacefully. These steps form the blueprint of what is often called a successful or perfect life. Fortunately, this societal template has its advantages. In the modern world, it provides a structure that helps people survive decently. It offers a clear path to follow, which can reduce confusion and fear in a fast-moving, complex world. It creates systems like education, employment, and law that make it easier for people to live safely and predictably. In a way, society has gamified survival, and if you play the game well, you get the rewards. But this system also has its limitations. Unfortunately, human beings are not just survival machines. We have a natural drive to go beyond mere existence. We want to express, to explore, to create, live in ways that are deeply personal and unique, and realize our full potential in this life. This is where the societal template begins to fall short. Success is subjective, and it must be defined by ourselves. Only we can decide how we want our lives to be. Whatever others decide for us will always come from a common, widely accepted template that may suppress our authenticity and unique creativity. Also, our education system is based on competition, and our teachers, parents, and families often compare us to neighbors, classmates, and relatives. These comparisons distract us from our authentic selves. Many of us, feeling pressure to appear successful, either compete aggressively or develop an inferiority complex. This inferiority complex can shape our entire life path. We may then try to build our success template, but one that is born from insecurity rather than creativity. When we chase a version of success defined by someone else, we often end up clashing with each other, pushing, pulling, and climbing over one another, without any real sense of personal growth and drive. This leads to an ugly form of competition and long-term exploitation of life in all its layers. The individual gets lost in the process. Life is subjective, and the idea of success should evolve naturally as a byproduct of our innate curiosity and developed attention. Our innate curiosity then creates dreams and aspirations that belong only to us. This is when we can start to shape a vision of the future that is worth pursuing, a vision built not to impress others, but to actualize your full potential. Even if we never achieve that dream 100%, we are still better off because the attempt itself is authentic. Yes, we are shaped by the times we live in, the possibilities of technology, the limitations of political and social support, financial access, and family support all influence what's possible. But even within those constraints, we must define success in realistic terms and stay fully committed to pursuing it. A life driven by authentic passion leads a person to a truly beautiful position. This person escapes the rat race, no longer chasing titles, rewards, or authority to prove something. This person becomes a living example. Their unique journey now becomes a new ideal for society. It inspires others not to follow blindly, but to look within themselves and create something original. True success is not about collecting material trophies. It is about becoming a complete human being. Even if our dreams don't unfold exactly as we planned, we must learn to be okay with it. Sometimes fulfillment comes from unexpected, unplanned moments. There is beauty in planning, but also beauty in leaving things unplanned and spontaneous. Why don't we live a life of both success and fulfillment? The two don't have to be mutually exclusive. The perfection of your life exists in the unfolding of your unique path. Perfection is a process, not an end goal. It is the refinement of your creative being. A perfect life can't be seen or imagined, but finding perfection in the unfolding process of your life is possible. Many times you might look like a failure to others for a while, and very few people can see the creative fire inside you, and that's okay. You need not extinguish your creative fire just to fit in. Trust your creative force. You may look like a loser in the eyes of others right now, but that's just the short term. Your biggest win may be unfolding in the long run. Many times you may have to sacrifice present pleasures for long-term success, but holding a deep trust in your individual creative force is essential for a life of true success and fulfillment. From the moment we are born, we are told how to live. Society tells us what success is, what perfection is. We are forced to learn from others on how to be successful. They pretend to be reasonable and play on our fear by saying, one must earn their bread and shelter. Others tempt our greed, selling us the glitter of success. No matter where we go, we are surrounded by forces of examples, people showing us how to be successful, how to become a topper, how to beat. And if we don't succeed in matching those images, we are made to feel like we are not good enough. We are forced to sell ourselves to become an image of success. But in doing so, we become conditioned and repressed. We begin to carry deep feelings of inferiority. And from those complexes, a need for superiority tends to arise. We start doing things that go against our true nature, just to feel good enough, smart enough, successful enough. Worse still, we may try to hold others back, sabotaging their success to soothe our insecurity. Sometimes, we even make others feel like failures simply because we secretly feel like one ourselves. To transform out of this state must become a priority. It becomes a need for an individual to rebel against their societal conditioning, to question it and to decondition it. Questioning it mostly within yourself. What led you toward this conditioning? Questioning your beliefs, your thought patterns, your ambitions, your goals, tracing the thoughts back to their source. It becomes the beginning of self-exploration, of self-awareness. This constant questioning leads to self-awareness. One must not stop as they explore their deep, layered conditionings. Self-awareness goes deeper and deeper until it brings you to the present moment, the here and now. This is when and how you redeem your creative force, and life is never the same. This begins the perfection of life, a successful life. This inclusive creative force brings transformation to society, one that is collaborative in nature rather than competitive. In turn, society may begin to heal. Living in the present makes one more competent for the future, opposed to the commonly held belief that thinking more about the future is the key. When you live in the present, you begin to do all activities for its own sake. The work becomes your best work. It becomes an art, and it serves as a step toward your success. The best part is, the steps you take have a compounding effect in the long term. The judgment of whether a person is successful or not has always been based on numbers, number of certificates, money, number of this, and number of that. This has become a full-time judgment by society, as they assume success is something objective, or perhaps they've turned something deeply subjective into something objective and quantitative through endless judgments. But success is, in truth, subjective and mostly personal. Whenever we turn something personal and subjective into something objective and quantitative, things can get ugly. We fuel society to create more templates, more structures, more examples, burdening fresh, new lives and future generations. We must break this pattern. We must decondition ourselves. Let us all become successful in our own unique ways. Let us live from our curiosity, our joy, our creative fire. Let us redefine success, not with someone else's words, but with our own being and perfection. That is when a society becomes successful. That is when the individual and the collective will finally walk hand in hand, not in competition, but in collaboration, not in imitation, but in inspiration. The evening was settling in, and the sky stretched out in a rich canvas of deep blues and purples. The air had a soft coolness to it, and a few birds circled overhead, their wings cutting through the sky like silent brushes. On a narrow, winding road, a man named Eckhart walked, his pace steady and unhurried. He had walked this road many times before, but today felt different. It wasn't the landscape that had changed, nor the path under his feet, but something inside him, something subtle, yet powerful. The weight of the world, the constant chase for achievement, had begun to loosen its grip on him. Eckhart had spent years racing through life, always seeking the next goal, the next success. He had worked tirelessly, built a career, gained recognition, and followed the advice of others on how to make it in the world. But despite all of this, there was always a quiet nagging inside him. It was a feeling he couldn't quite name, an unease that success, as he understood it, was never enough. Today, as he walked, he realized he had stopped chasing. He had no specific destination in mind, no goal that had to be reached. He simply walked. His feet moved in rhythm with the earth, and the sounds around him, the rustling of leaves, the soft hum of distant voices, the occasional flutter of wings, felt like music to him, each note a part of something larger, something more profound. The path led him through a small grove of trees, their branches hanging low with the weight of autumn's first fruits. He paused there, standing in the quiet, watching the way the light filtered through the leaves, casting gentle shadows on the ground. For a moment, everything felt still. Not silent, but still, like the world itself was holding its breath. In that stillness, Eckhart felt something begin to shift. He noticed the way his mind, usually racing with thoughts, had slowed. There was no need to plan, no need to rush, no need to figure everything out. He realized that for the first time in a long time, he was simply being, fully present with each step, each breath, each moment. As he continued down the path, Eckhart understood that he had been living in the future for so long, always thinking ahead to what would come next. But now, with every footstep, he was learning to be involved in the present, to feel the moment deeply. The noise in his mind faded, replaced by a quiet awareness of the life around him. He could hear the crunch of leaves beneath his feet, the wind moving through the trees, the distant sound of a river flowing. All of it was part of the world he had been missing, always too focused on what was ahead to truly see what was here. The evening was growing darker, and the stars were beginning to appear above. The path led him past a small village, its lights twinkling in the distance, warm and inviting. But Eckhart didn't hurry toward it. He simply walked, absorbed in the quiet rhythm of his own movements. He crossed a small stone bridge, and as he did, he looked down at the water flowing beneath. It was calm and steady, moving with purpose but never rushing. The river didn't worry about how long it took to reach the sea. It simply moved, moment by moment, trusting the flow of life. Eckhart smiled softly to himself, a sense of peace settling within him. He understood now. Success wasn't about reaching a certain place or achieving a certain goal. It wasn't about what others thought or what he had accomplished. Success, he realized, was about being deeply involved in the journey itself, fully engaged with each step, each breath, each moment, no matter where the path led. He continued walking, no longer searching for something outside himself. He had already found it, in the quiet awareness of the world around him, in the deep involvement with the life he was living. The storm might come, and the wind might rise, but Eckhart was no longer concerned. He was simply a part of it all, moving forward with the flow, trusting the path as it unfolded.